Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's probably going to take a minute for everybody to hop over from that other thread, but hello, Paul Freed. Sincerely hope that this one's going to hold a lot better than my article card reading. I think Cosmic Blue Avian was right. I think that we've got a lot of sun codes that are coming in, but how cool, Paul. So found my, it's so sweet. From 1984, we're going to meet each other on Friday. You know, I've found with a lot of people, when I have seen them again after many years, they are pretty much the same that they were back in the day. You know, when you're little, it's very much who you are is who you are. It's really cool. Hi, Mousy. Hi, Lori Hunsinger. Hello, Hypnicity. Well, I hope that you both have a lot of fun catching up. Oh, okay. Now I really can hear one of my high up planes. So I sincerely hope that this time we can keep the Wi-Fi together this time. Uh-huh. Yeah. See, what happens is where we're located, we have a lot of military guys that come through, and unfortunately use the exact same 5G. From what I understand, they use the same 5G technology for their airplanes, which means as they're coming through, they're coming through and they're trying to use the exact same things. And one would hope that they are naturally overriding me, because me talking on the ground is not as important as keeping an airplane oriented in the sky. That said, I would really appreciate if my computer and my internet could stay connected. This would be really handy. Well, I knew Jane Danielson, Hamanisa. Huna Hamanisa is in the house. Do we have any other Hunas in the house? If we have any other Hunas in the house, please share your Huna essence with us. That is a light essence. Oh my golly goodness, Paul. We were engaged in high school. Oh, due to family issues, it didn't happen. Well, you know, Paul, it's been a minute, so perhaps this time through there won't be as big a problem. Hi, Deb. My cat Shirley is exhibiting behaviors. Oh, baby. Now that's interesting. Carl, that's fine. Carl, it looks like she could be exhibiting that. And what can happen too is, sure, we will. What can happen with your kitty cats like that? Sometimes there'll be a walk-in, and they can be a complete walk-in where they just take over. Usually that will happen with a kitten or a younger animal. But it can really happen at any point with any animal, and that can be humans too. Or if you have like an accident, or if you have like a very severe injury, you could have what's called a walk-in, where the one soul departs and then the other one just steps into it. But that said, sometimes you will have where they will look in, where you will have two souls sharing the same body. So you have your regular initial soul, and then, like you're saying, she started to display some of the things, and yet at the same time, she's still here. Why am I having such a hard time sharing my voice? It can be a couple of things, Annie Bear. One, if you're not feeling safe in your world, start off your day and then periodically just tell yourself throughout the day, I am safe, I am loved, and see if that helps. You can also wear protection stones around your throat. Like for an example, I'll show you right quick. I'm using kyanite, aquamarine and kyanite. The kyanite I love because it's such an exceedingly high frequency. It's a lot like what happens with the selenite. It will not pick up the other frequencies, so it's always a high frequency. And I was severely drawn to kyanite about 3 years ago. But you can use any kind of a stone that you are drawn to. Mm-hmm. You know, you might just simply sit there with the kyanite at your throat. Ooh, that's a pretty name. Blinking in and out again, which means that plane is probably circling back again. Fire agate. if it helps you to stand more in your power and to feel protected, sure, go for it. You're going to find a lot of the stones that are colored blue will be helpful because you're trying to beef up also that third, or not third eye. It can be the third eye, but also it can be for the throat chakra. A lot of us have had our throat chakras down, and so it's helping to reopen and helping it feel safe. And that's just it. In the morning, start off with, I am safe, I am loved. I am healthy, I am wealthy. And remind yourself throughout the day, I am safe, I am loved. And see if that helps you. And as Hypnicity is saying, Tektite can also help to remove. Let me see if I have Palo Santo. You can use Palo Santo as well. You can also use sage. But I find wearing the blue colors are especially helpful for throat protection. And then we'll also be doing some more of the energy moving around too. Sometimes you can do the crying to release as well. I'm gonna go back up. Hi, Gray. Rendering. There we go. Okay, there we go. Just scrolling back up here just to see. I think I missed something earlier. Yep, now see. I did see. Oh, here we go. Pam from Ali Show said, your pH level is low. Too toxic. Sure. Okay, sure. Absolutely. Carl, one of the things you can do when it is not around your meal times, you can take some, and this is just for entertainment purposes only. To balance with that, you could also take just a little bit of baking soda and drink it in some water. And by little, I mean super duper tiny. And don't do it near your meal times because you need your tummy acid in order to digest your foods. Okay. So what we're going to do right quick is, I think I have. Let me see if I have loaded the. Yes, here we go. Yay! Yeah. Let's start off with this. We got some Lemurian Light Codes coming in. So we're going to go ahead and start in. We have Pennsylvania 78. Gorgeous. I'm so glad you're back in Pennsylvania. You seem to really love it there, Paul. That's wonderful. So we're going to do some light codes, and then we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of the energy healing today. And then I wanted to double back, and we'll talk about some things that have been happening to me this week as far as cosmic cousin visits. You can begin with your favorite clear quartz as well. Yes, absolutely. You know, hi CJ. The other thing that you could do too with that clear quartz is you could put it side by side with an obsidian or black piece like the Tektite or black tourmaline. Go away, airplane. Go away. They're so high up. Okay, sure. But that will help that clear quartz to pick up the energy from the black obsidians as well. And that's one too. I do also have one that's tucked into my pocket, a black obsidian, arthritic right side. Sure. So let's just get started off with some Lemurian light coding first. And I'm going to be obnoxious because I'm going to go ahead and repeat a little bit of what I said in case people were not over on the other one. Happy New Year. June 1st will actually mark the Lemurian New Year. And we're actually entering into the portal where we are beginning to get a lot of the light codes and a lot of the streaming in. So if you get the opportunity, if the sun is shining, go out and just stand there if you can and look up into the sun codes. Or if your eyes or you are in a position where it could burn, then you can stay in the shade and you can look on the ground and you can still pick up the light codes from seeing the sunlight as it hits the ground. You can do this safely. So I want you to, here we go again. I have no idea what this is going to look like on the replay because I have no idea what this is going to look like on the replay because I keep getting knocked off. So But yes, June 1st will be our Lemurian New Year. For June, it's going to be 1 7. I try not to do those too much too soon because then people jump ahead. Black numbers. Sure. Okay, gang, let's get started on some energy movement. And I don't know what we're going to get for a show today since we keep having the internet interruptions. That's pretty funny. There's a whole lot of light codes coming in. For anybody that if I get caught off before I get to the energy healing, you can go back to last week's or any of those replays and you can use those, any of the energy healings, because I've done some pretty full sets of the meridian balancing as well. Ooh, tiger's eyes, beautiful. Blue tiger eyes, gorgeous. And yeah, it would be another one. Rossi's saying for Andy Bear to try this. Blue tiger's eye, blue hawk's eye. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And of course, to geek out from the 1980s, I'm showing you an image. This week's image is brought to you by the Goonies. Actually, seriously, the movie, The Goonies, back in the 1980s, 1985, is coming up on its 40th anniversary. It's 40th making of. And what you're seeing in front of you is from Ecola State Park. And so the rocks that you see in front of you were actually featured in the movie itself. So I just wanted to give a nod to the Goonies since we actually lived for this. Alrighty, let's get started on some energy work, everybody. I know it's a hoot, it's a cult classic. You would not believe, I mean, when I was a kid, we wore that 4 tape out. It was VHS back in the day. It was fun. Still is a lot of fun. We have a lot of tourists that come through too, and they reconnect with the different areas. You can stop right on the highway. You can see where the restaurant was only created. If you see the Goonies movie, you'll understand what I mean. The villains in the movie, they own a restaurant, or they're at a restaurant. And so they actually built the restaurant on the spit of land. It's pretty much where you see this. But it got taken down because it was just for the movie set. It was just created for that. But you can still see the viewpoints. You can still see that spit of land right from Highway 101. And the cool thing is the Goonies house, there's a person who bought the actual home that was used in the Goonies, and they have done renovations on the exterior of it, and they're currently still working on the interior of it. The Flavel house had also been Flavel house. If you get the chance to ever travel to Astoria and go through it, do so. It is amazing. It is a gorgeous home. It was featured in the movie, and right across the street, quite literally across the street, is the jail, and that is where they filmed the jailbreak from that opens the beginning of the movie. So anyways, it's a lot of fun. I mean, if you've seen the movie, if you're a fan of the movie, there's a lot of places in and around Astoria where you can see where they were doing the filming at, which was really, really cool. And I loved it. It was just a fun, feel-good movie from the 1980s. So it's really nice to have people that come literally from around the world. They're pretty excited about it. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so let's get started on some Lemurian Light Codes. And I'm going to be doing the usual set, but I need to talk through you right quick what's going on. It's Astoria, Oregon. Oregon is the state. Astoria, actually I'll geek out just a little bit because I do love my home. I do love where I live. And we live on the Oregon coast. And Astoria is the first city for America on the West Coast. It was based on fur trapping. Originally they came up, they were exploring in order to do the they were looking for the Northwest Passage originally. And Lewis and Clark came right through here. Meriwether Lewis and dear Clark, I cannot remember your first name. I'll probably remember after the show. But yeah, they came right through here. How beautiful. One of my daughters was named Brianna Astoria. That is a gorgeous name. I love how it just rolls off the tongue. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Well, to start off with, what I want to do is I'm going to talk through the login. And I'm actually going to do a full set for the login today so that you can understand more of the words that are behind the Lemurian Light Codes that I'm using. Tihe Mori. Grateful for the breath of life. From the void of creation, from the cradle of creation comes first light, Ba. First breath, Ha. First birth or form, Ka. First love, Wa, which everybody should know by now. First stone is Ta. First fire is He. So we say Tihe Mori Ora. Maha Kawa Tahi. Tawa Kahama. There and back again. First dimension. It in wa, in the name of Ito iri, the vibration. To o, the frequency. To wana, the energy. Wayuatapu, I remember. Second dimension. It in wa, in the name of Tifanui, land. Trai, sky. Tikitao, the water. Wayuatapu, I remember. Third dimension, Iti'ingwa, in the name of Tafaya, the mother, Tamatua, the father, Titama, the child, Wayuatapu, I remember. Tihe Ori Ora, grateful for the breath of life. Hi, Kat. Welcome, welcome, Utica. So you got to hear everything, right? Beautiful, the Merkaba is already spinning. That's exactly what we're working with. Hello, Karen Robinson. Did you see, Wawa? You have prosperity for your Oracle card pulling this week. There is a New Zealand family on YouTube that were geeking out on the Goonies house. How cool, how cool. That's wonderful. Please help me a lot. Whole bunch of stomach upset. Sure. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and collapse. This is going to be an undoing and a doing. And so what we're doing on this will be collapsing the old energy and collapsing the old negative stories, bringing everything into 0 point. You can sometimes hear this called scalar energy as well. And then that way it kind of just clean slates everything for you. Let's begin. I e te e a u I a be u e o o p u un I ma e ni e no to e o u a e te I a u be o e u be I un ul o e to no e nu e ma I. We're going to go right over into the Poata. Hakta. Toroa pote hitu makaki ma kakika. Naro hawa tu taki ma takika ta itu te hu. Upo. Okay. And now I've already started Utica on the tummy as well. Hopefully it will hold the steam on here. Great, great, great. Okay. Shiny and Olympia, we have a off of the Pacific coast. We have a high pressure ridge, which meant that it started to show all of our clouds. Our dear sweet clouds are up in Alaska. So right now I'm doing some energy healing, and I use quantum mechanics on my energy healing. And what I'm doing is I'm reaching and working on the meridians. What the meridians are rivers of energy that flow in and around the body in a specific pattern. This is going to be for animals as well as people, because people are critters too. And so it's a universal. That is one big plane. Go away. Go circle somebody else. I seem to have lost Debbie. Uh-oh. Well, hopefully, we're just going to keep hanging in there. And again, if I have locked up, and I hope I have not locked up, hopefully, if I get knocked off at any point, if anybody can hear me, if I get knocked off, you can literally go back to last week, and there is a timestamp. Support prayer yesterday, back locked up, frozen. Don't usually, again, gray like this. You can go back any of the replays that I have. The energy embedded in that is timeless. And if I didn't cover something that day, then you can absolutely just pretend. Use your imagination, pretend that I've done it, okay? Because the energy will flow where your intention is, all right? At the moment, I'm at the top of the shoulders and the base of the neck. Paul's got it. Hopefully Mousy got it. Okay, Mousy's got it back. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Like I said, I can hear a really high up, it's an extremely large plane, and I suspect that we're using the same signal. So it's just a matter of they're doing circles in the sky, and I'm busy trying to do my show, and we're using the exact same frequency here. I love 5G. Eh? For me, the voice is breaking. Beautiful. Thank you, Utica. That is exactly what I need. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I can hear it, Annie Bear. That's why I know it's a plane. It's one of the big Taskmaster type planes. So back in the 90s, speaking of, the other movie that we had for Astoria was called Free Willy. And the star of that show, Kiko. Kiko had actually come from Mexico, if I remember correctly. And they used him for the filming and everything. But after he was finished in the filming, the Oregon Coast Aquarium in Newport, Oregon, it is amazing if you get the opportunity. He got migrated there, and he stayed in that tank for a time. And of course, there was the huge push. We've got to free him because people thought Free Willy meant free the actual. They really probably should have left that poor guy alone because the tank that he lived in was incredible. And it has to be said that he was taken from the wild whenever he was exceedingly young. And so they did locate his pod from his voice, and they were able to take and locate them off of Iceland. So at the moment right now, I'm working on the skull, the in between the ears. No, it's not the usual pattern, but there's something going on there in between the ears and the skull and the upper palate right now for somebody, and there's a heck of a headache going on. So that's kind of where I'm located right now. But to get back to Kiko, Kiko was amazing. I got to see Kiko in the aquarium. So fast forward, they made this huge effort to get him relocated with his original pod. And we won't tell you the end of the story because that was exceedingly sad. But that said, they brought in one of these gigantic planes that I can hear flying around, and it was called a Global Taskmaster, but it literally broke the airport whenever they loaded Kiko and flew him out of the airport in Newport. So, Money Saw, you've got the headache. You're not the only one having the headache. There's been a lot of differences with people that are coming and going. We're getting a lot of light codes that are coming in. And so other people are also experiencing those as sun codes as well. Yeah, just going to have to be patient. I'm going to just keep talking, and we'll just hopefully keep having the thing coming in more than we have it coming out. Awesome. Oh, that is amazing, Paul. Paul Freed, we're going to go see the California Ocean on Monday. Can't wait. That is so cool. You're going to have such fun. It's beautiful. California is a different ocean than what we have up here. It's not nearly as cool. We see poor people coming up here and they try to wade out into the ocean and play. And honestly, we do have surfers. We have a lot of surfers that come surf the coast here, but it's colder here. You really do need a wetsuit to protect yourself. But in California, it's perfect weather. The important thing, like I said, is just make sure that you're watching where the natives, the locals, see where they're going out into the water, and only go in those places for safety's sake. Okay, right now I'm on the back of the throat structures, and we're going to go down through throat. I'm just following where I'm guided today. I normally do follow a very specific pattern. Yeah, this is for everybody else. Rossi's also saying, go ahead and set your protections. There have been psychic attacks, and there have been psychic attacks. But for myself, it's not going on right now. I'm not being attacked. I think it's just that I've got somebody competing with the same. Has anybody old enough to remember a party line on a telephone line where you have 5 neighbors and you all share the same line, and so whenever you pick up the phone, it may or may not be an empty line. And if it's an empty line, that means that you get to dial your friend or your family or whatever. But at any point, another family can pick up the line and 1, listen in on your stuff, 2, interrupt your phone call. Me and 5G with this plane right now, we're kind of doing the same thing. Oh, thank you. I had the headache, and it is frightening. It is frightening. You can do all kinds of things. Lift your head up just a little bit. Yeah, they were a pain. They were an absolute pain. Lift your chin up just a little bit so that your jaw is parallel with the ground. And that will help to give your neck muscles in the back a little bit of space. The only person, cross connections for sure. The only person I'm going to say, and this will be for anybody that has been doing like Annie Bear has been, where you look up too much. And for those people, I would say do the opposite. Go ahead and look down so that you can relieve your neck. And we do have, I know I can feel it, we've got a lot of challenges in and around the eyes. I was on a YouTube channel yesterday. It sounded like a party line, must be cosmic. What's fascinating though is as we're coming into the Aquarian age, we are coming into more of our sharing and everything. Feeling I had that same feeling, a white swirl of energy as in a couple of weeks ago while you talk about it. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing as I'm just going to keep continuing to do energy work as I talk, because this has been a little more challenging this week, but this last week has been really interesting for me with our cosmic cousins. Most of the week had been pretty cloudy for me here on the Pacific Northwest, but I think it was Friday night. I had gotten up overnight and we had a break in the clouds. And funny enough, there was like that orangish red color. I tried to simulate that on this image. And I remember looking at it and thinking, I don't recognize you, because I usually do recognize the star patterns. I didn't recognize it. And of course, as I started to sit there and go, you're not a star, it drastically changed course and zipped a little further distance. And then it got smaller in appearance. It didn't fade away entirely, but I wasn't too sure. Sometimes these things can be just a satellite that's repositioning itself, and so you can sometimes get lens flares. You can get different colors coming off of. They use these wide panels in order to gather solar energy. Everybody's talking about the phone lines. That's funny. And anyways, with that, I'm not too sure if that one was a satellite. I don't think it was, but it potentially could be. I like to do reality checks first before I go, could be UFO. The other one that looked like, and I tried to recreate it here, looked like the white, blue, yellow, green. There's actually multiple. That's why I call it rainbow colors. Left eye, all I can do is stay held it. No relief. You might try a cold washcloth on your eyes, for the eyes gray. Yeah, there's a lot of grittiness in and around the eyes itself. But my little greenish fellow, greenish whitish color, that one I waved to. That one did respond because it bobbed up and down and floated all over the place. So yeah, it was my cosmic cousins coming in, just simply saying hi again. But they're a lot of fun. You know, whenever they come in, they mine haven't. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think my visitors at night probably are from those ships. But whenever I very first met them, they were already here, had been here for quite some time in this area. And depending on what was going on in the world, sometimes they were doing grid work. Okay, I'm hearing somebody's stomach. So I'm going to go back down towards the neck and work on the stomach meridians that are in and around the neck and the shoulders. And for those that have the head suffering, I'm going to leave a light in place as I move down and around the rest of the body. And you may find as I'm working, you may do some burpees. You may get some tummy rumbles, because I'm actually going to bring this one up a little bit because somebody's got some serious tummy challenges. Or we're going to try doing some soothing. Sometimes, as they say, better out than in. If you've done any of the burping or the yawning is usually one of the more frequent. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of intensive with the energy, and so I tend to lose my speech pattern whenever I do this. If you do the yawning or the burping, the sneezing can happen. Sometimes you'll have tears flowing. Then go ahead and take a sip of water. It doesn't have to be drastic, but get yourself some water to help. What happens is you've had a physical release into the body when you've had those indicators. And so if you drink that, then it's going to go ahead and flush that out of the body even faster. The Sahara Desert is headed toward Texas. Oh, let's just not say we did. We're expecting a larger amount than last year. Should hit us on Thursday. Yeah, I don't think that needs to happen. My eyes are doing a lot today. It's just I can feel everybody else's body, and so we'll probably do a little more head-centric today, but I need to do the rest of the meridians that are in and around the body. So I'm pretty intensive around both shoulders right now, and I'm actually underneath shoulder blades. Oh, Mousy, I'm going to suggest that you just severely back away from all of that. There's no way to eat poison safely. Not really. And all that is you're feeding duality when you do that. I know it's really unpopular, but that's exactly, it doesn't matter which team or which side you're on. It's a duality and a very much a 3D construct. And so as these energies are coming in, our focus really needs to be on how can I absorb the energy that's coming in and not come down with physical issues, which is why I'm doing this right now. And then also, how can I maintain my focus just on these frequencies and on these energies? Yeah, it's just a different focus is all. We've been trained to look outside ourselves. We really need to look inside ourselves. Can you help with the grounding codes? Sure, we can do that. At the moment, I'm on the interior of the abdominal wall and behind the shoulder blades from the inside. Yeah, and that is exactly it, Mousy. In order to preserve yourself, you absolutely need to walk away. Your body is telling you, it's enough. I can't take any more of this. And that is the correct thing to do. I have said time and again, if you're on a TV show or something and it's starting to upset you, turn it off. Same thing with the pages. And the reason why is because there are subliminals that are embedded in a lot of the stuff that you're watching. And the intention is to siphon off your energy. That is exactly what it is. It's not just programming you. which also happens, but it was done intentionally to feed off of your energy. My eye is at a critical state, so I'm looping. I'm hearing you may need to change venue, and by venue, you may need to go out of country or get a different idea. That pisses me off. It's the same thing. Yeah. That's just it. As hypnicity is saying, sometimes people get very entrenched for one side or the other. And it's easier to see it whenever you realize that it wouldn't matter if you substituted it for your favorite wrestler or your favorite football team. It's really that shallow. Divided we fall. Yeah, the TV subliminals push me off. And that's just it. You have to be self-aware that it's happening. And as soon as it's happening, you turn that off. Oh, that'd be sweet. Carl's saying, hopefully that's me next year back in the US. Something to look forward to, huh? Okay, right now I'm on the lower back. I'm working in and around the spine. That's interesting. A little muddy back here. I'm gonna just close my eyes right quick. And you may feel a little dizzy. So if you're standing up and you feel a little dizzy, go ahead and sit yourself down. But I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of get in here with a little bit of intensive energy because we have 3 of our cleansing channels that go down the back itself and across the hips and the tushy and down the hamstrings. And for a human, that's kind of a fiddly joint to begin with. It's pretty fiddly on our animals as well because you've got the pelvis where the spine and the pelvis meet, and the pelvis itself, especially for humans, there are a lot of fiddly little interior muscles that hold us upright. And sometimes those can get locked in place if we feel like we're not moving forward in life. There we go. Beautiful. And then we're just going to go down the outer thighs. I'm doing both at the same time. Knees. Oh my golly goodness, somebody's knee on the right hand side, that is bone on bone, and it's not happy. Hang on a minute. Okay, we're going to focus primarily on the right hand side, right knee, and then I'm going to mirror it. Don't worry if you've got the same problem on the left. I'll be mirroring the same energy over there. A lot of times what happens with the bone on bone, the knee itself is the joint that sits in between your feet and your hips. And again, it gets a lot of energy, a lot of shearing energy that gets cantilevered on when the rest of our body is out of alignment. So we're just right now holding the space for that and allowing, yep, there it goes, the spine starting to straighten, and we're allowing that hip joint, which seems weird because it's like, it's not in my hip, it's in my knee. I hear you. But it's never in the knee. It's either in the foot, or it's in the hip, or it's in both. Kind of like with the horses, no hoof, no horse. It's the same thing with people. No foot, you're going to end up with a back pain, which can lead into chronic migraines, stress, strange shoulder positioning. There you go. I know it's not perfect, but it does give your knee a bit more space. There you go. There's an amazing book, too, that's called Pete Agascu. And he goes over all kinds of different, they're not really, even though called exercises or exercises, they're actually body poses. And he explains in pretty clear languaging how mechanically it's happening, and it discusses different poses that you can do in order to take that shearing pressure and weight back off of that. Utica, yours might also be, if it's not something that your knees are connected to a lot, it can also be connected to your stomach being messed up. Oh, you're so welcome. See, and sometimes if you take the pressure off and you do that with the knees and the hips, I'm still working on the right knee. You'll find other locations like the shoulder popping. It's amazing. Not interested in psychics that have agendas. Yeah, unfortunately, what I've seen too with some, not all, don't get me wrong. Some people are very invested in what they're doing, and they think they're doing the right thing by trying to pump up their side, whichever side it is. But they can be easily manipulated. And unfortunately, I've seen quite a few people that have jumped on a bandwagon where they really don't seem to care. They just realize that their numbers are getting bigger or they're getting paid more. Yep. As Rossi is saying, that is a documentary. It's a sci-fi movie called They Live, and it shows the subconscious programming. Of course, they'll blame it with ET, but if you replace the ET with the humans and the power, you'll understand what's happening today. And that's just it. I gotta admit, I'm shocked that they actually made that. It was from the 1980s. And yes, it does go through. It was amazing how they had framed it and everything. Yeah, I do core exercises for all of it. Sure. Doing a little bit on the interior of the stomach and the abdomen, but I'm going to go ahead and close my eyes again so that I can go ahead and do the left-hand side, because it's always good to do both sides so we're good and balanced. So we're going to do the left hand. Excuse me. Somebody's stomach just moved. That was a good herb. So now we're going to do the left hip just like we just did the right hip. We're going to give the left hip and knee some space and allow that to move and open up through. And on the left-hand side, whoever you are, I can feel it further down. So your problem is actually in the foot itself. There's a lot of congestion down and around the ankle and the foot. So in just a few, I want to give this just a few to go ahead and allow that space, just like we did on the right-hand side, to open up, relax. Sometimes it's just a matter of waiting. There it goes. Yeah, somebody's got a really sore, achy knee on the left-hand side. And some of that is stomach meridian channel as well. So let's just go in and around the calf. Do those ting points down and around the ankles. And into the foot and into the ground. I'm going to mirror that on the right-hand side. Ankles and foot. And whoever's hands are achy and hurting and stabby like a bee sting, I'll be back there in just a few. Because we haven't completed those either. But I needed to get to the stomach meridians that are down here. Okay, whoever this is, if you've got like an upset stomach right now because you've got a lot of congestion still down in your feet, very gently stomp the ground with the flats of your feet. Gentle. You don't have to do it hard. Just to stimulate the soles of the feet for people. Somebody's horse is already doing it. That's great. Same thing with the feetsies on the dogs or the kitties or the birds. Stomp, 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 stomp. Beautiful. And yes, you can point your toes down into Mother Earth, or you can imagine it digging into some sand, like you're at a soft beach or in the soft grass. You don't have to do it physically. There you go. We're just moving the congestion because it started to stagnate in those lower meridians. Okay, now we're going to move the energy back up the inner, coming up the inner feet. You're going to be safe. It's okay. Mother Earth does not hurt you. Someone's got a real issue with receiving from feminine energy. She's loving. She's compassionate. I don't know if you can smell a rose, but that is a really good smell or fragrance just for that compassion piece. You are loved, you are held. There's nothing wrong that's going to come from feminine energy, not from the Mother Earth. Or you can call her planet Matea if you like. That's the Lemurian word for the Lemuria 5, a planet of light. And she wants to support you. She wants to nurture and hold you. Bring all the good stuff up. Wow, there we go. Now we've got some nice light codes coming in. So just go ahead and receive those light codings coming in through and around the ankle. That's great. We're doing sacred geometries right on up that inner leg, up the inner calf. We're going to pause on the under knee, just below the knee. Just let that coding build in and come in. Beautiful. Okay, up at the higher point of the inner knee. We're going to allow that to bathe in and around the knee joints, backs of the knees, fronts of the knees, interior of the knees, kneecap itself. Great. Now we're going to allow those same codes to just generate up your inner thighs, up into the groin. And now we're going to come up the center line of your tummy. This is called the conception vessel. And then allow those codes to just generate sacred geometries in and around through your abdominal. There is other codes. We have crystals in and around our organs, in and around our tummies. Prayers for a niece, double mastectomy. Sure. Hemicity, I will go ahead and add more for that. Husband has the sciatica. Okay. Let's go ahead and add extra. It's pretty amazing codes that are coming in, though. So let's do some extra in and around the tailbone, hip, pelvic girdle, knee, and now we're going to go in and around the chest space, to the heart, up and around the lungs. Oh, that's beautiful. The lymph glands that are in the armpit. Mm-hmm. 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 You're welcome, Gray. You're not the only one. You know, like I said, we've been programmed so much, and wounded people will reflect out that wound. It's not really theirs, but it just goes ahead and renews itself. It'll mirror that out there if you don't do what's called a pattern interrupt, which means you've noticed. Kind of like, I think it was Mousy who said that she noticed that she was struggling with the duality game on the TV, and so she walked away from it. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me, Paul. Yeah, have a lot of fun. I'm sure you will. Cool. Right now, the codes are coming up through the lung space, and it's coalescing at the collarbones and the throat. And what I want to do with this is I'm going to bring those same light codes and allow them to come up. They're coming up through the teeth. I can feel them coming up through the teeth, that inner neck. Support card. Beautiful. Oh, hypnicity's got it in one. We can't solve what's wrong with the world with hate. You are correct. It has to be love. So anything that brings you joy, love, joy, bliss, exhilaration, fun, these are the things that we need to turn our face towards and pay attention to. Beautiful. Okay. Mostly I'm just letting these codes generate. They're pretty strong right now. They're coming up through. They're very long, very strong light coding that's coming up through. And they're integrating now with the headspace. Ouch. Get this moved. Sorry if I moved you guys. So I'm going to go over my slides here. Yes, nature will support you. There's another one I thought I had in here. Oh, bummer. I thought I had that in here. Let me see if I do. Nope. Okay. The bubble was the one I wanted to get to anyway, so we'll use this one. Okay. Utica, if Utica's still in here, Utica was asking for doing the bubble technique, which is a grounding technique, which is beautiful. So if you're still awake, if I have not sent you to sleep, and you're a person, what you're going to want to do is just gently look up towards your third eye and then close your eyelids down while you're still looking up behind your eyes. Do it gently. Okay? It's not like you have to go up into the sky or anything. But imagine a light that's coming down from above. And let it be whatever color it wants to be. And let it bathe the top of your head and go through your head, your face, your eyes, so that all you see is love coming in, bathing in and around your ears so that you hear the love coming in, around your nose and teeth, through your throat so that you speak love, going down through the back of your neck and the tops of your shoulders. And you'll see this light bathing off of your shoulders into your upper arms, your elbows. And for the person that was like, you missed my hands, I am going to your hands. Because I'm still doing energy work as we're doing this. Down through the forearms, your wrists. Gorgeous. Okay, you're light years ahead of me already. Down through the hands, out towards Mother Earth. And it's the same diamond light codes that are coming up from Mother Earth that came up through your feet. They're coming in through your hands. And then back up through your inner hands, inner thigh, or inner wrists, forearms, upper arms, and into the armpits themselves. Now imagine that same light bathing through the tops of your shoulders and into your lung space. Let it be whatever color it wants to be. Same light in and around your shoulder blades, your lungs. The pericardium is the heart sac. Let it bathe around the pericardium, which protects your heart, and in the heart space itself. That's great. You're filling up every nook and cranny of this in this gorgeous light, and then watch it go all the way through your diaphragm and into your tummy space, cascading down your back at the same time, power washing through your tummy, your hips. Turn up the volume around the hips and the tummy, because sometimes we have our emotions stuck in these spaces. Good. Down through your hips, your thighs, knees, down through your calves and shins, down through your ankles, your feet, and into Mother Earth. And now allow Mother Earth to bring up a different color. It can be the same color as what you have going from below or above, but it can be a different color as well. So let it be whatever color it wants to be. And imagine that bubbling up through the bottoms of your feet, up through your ankles, your calves, knees, up through your thighs and hips, up through your abdomen, feel it supporting your back as it comes all the way up through the diaphragm and into the heart space. Now, both of these lights are going to be meeting from above and below, and they're going to form a bubble, an orb or sphere, and that's going to be around your heart. Now, open that bubble up, make it bigger so that you can step into it. Let it be whatever size it wants to be. You'll feel it as it expands. You'll feel it stick into place. It could be 3 feet around you. It could be 5 feet around you. It could be 20 feet or more around you. Let it be whatever the comfortable size is. And the only thing in this space will be you and these 2 lights coming from above and below. Now, if you are super sensitive to energy, anytime that you get pulled off of your center, you can do this. I would suggest doing this if you were going out and you have to be around people and you're an empathic type person, that you actually set an exterior bubble around the first bubble for protection. And then if you need, you can go ahead and add an even bigger bubble, a 3rd bubble around that, so that only your highest good will come through that bubble. And I have the bubbles up just simply for visualization. One of the color of the bubbles is silver. And if I have, like somebody was suggesting earlier, if I have something like a negative entity or a person that is throwing junk at me psychically, a psychic attack, I'll use that silver color bubble. I'll imagine it as a really highly polished silver sphere all the way around me, so that whatever they're throwing out at me just gets mirrored back. Now, alternately, you could pick one of the pink bubbles or one of the reddish bubbles in order to, oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, you do the 3 bubbles. That's really smart, especially if you're very sensitive to energy. How do you know if you're empathic? You know you're empathic if you started off in a good mood and you've gone, like, say, to the grocery store and you've walked down an aisleway and suddenly you feel angry, even though nobody's there. You have picked up on somebody's energy, potentially even in the aisle that is alongside of you. The reason why is because the empathic people, our auras are set at a much bigger distance. Truly empathic people will begin picking up and mirroring out energy systems that aren't yours. You're picking up gunk, you're behaving and having that anger issue that's not your stuff. So if you can get there ahead of time, it's even better. Like Utika's saying, always do the 3 bubbles, 2 bubbles, 3 bubbles. You'll know how many bubbles that you need, and usually you can stack the bubbles one inside each other. There's no wrong way to do this. You can't do this wrong, okay? My hubby is too. Yeah, I turn the empathy on and off. I would be classed more as a normal leaning towards empathic. But him, boy, he's just full on empathy. So it's very difficult for him sometimes whenever we're out and about, and he'll get angry at certain times, and that's because he's accidentally picked up stuff from somebody else. Because it's like, why am I like this? It's not you. You've got to cast it off. Imagine it going off of you. You could even use the bubble at that point. If you've got ickies that have managed to come in and you've already done your bubble and you're like, this stinks, it doesn't work. Go ahead and have the bubble siphon that off, kind of like a sponge will. And then you can imagine it, pretend it, however you want, daydream it, see it going down as an icky color down and sliding down the outside of that bubble and dropping into Mother Earth. And Mother Earth will actually transform that for you. And you will not hurt her because that's part of her transmutation powers. It's not going to harm her at all. Yeah, see, I tend to stay in the witnessing awareness. That's perfect because if you can stay up in the observer mode, you just don't take things personally. Most of us down here, we're trying to do the best we can with what we've got. You know, I say we always came in with star cards whenever I first started learning about the astrology, the Western astrology, and I still stand by that. That's why I'm teaching the Lemurian astrology, because with the Western astrology, we were given a hand of cards. We were dealt a hand of cards when we come back in. And that's what you were playing out. While with the Lemurian astrology, that kind of helps to break that up a little bit more. Lets in the light a little bit more. Oh, yeah. I call in the ancestors to help. That is a really good call. My connections held better. I watched everybody else, usually no problems. Oh, that's great. Yeah, we kind of had a few wobbles. That plane's not around. I can't hear it right now. Yeah, it's been really tough for a couple of weeks. It's been interesting, that's for sure. Saturday night, I had the craziest thing happen, and I'm going to go ahead and share it because it was just bizarre. But it happened Saturday night, and I was busy watching a comedian. She's one of my favorites. And she had done something silly with her hair, and it just tickled me. I mean, she looked like Shirley Temple whenever she had undone the little braids. She slept on these braids. Anyways, the experiment that she was doing went from bad to worse, and it made me laugh. But then my heart started to do this very strange thing, and of course, everybody was really panicky, and they're like, "Oh, are you having a heart attack?" No, I didn't have, because my very first thing was I closed my eyes. It felt so bizarre that I did double check really quick energy wise on my own meridians. And I looked at my hands. I looked at my physical meridian pathways for the heart and the pericardium both. It was not a heart attack at all. And the best thing I could describe it as was I suddenly had a pulse of white light coming. It was emanating from the heart space. I felt a little bit like E.T., E.T. phone home. It was just strange. There was no distress whenever it happened. It just suddenly kicked in, and it started emanating this light from the center of my chest. It didn't last very long because, like I said, at the time I went ahead and I stopped what I was doing just to assess, because I mean, I'm a practical girl at the end of the day. And of course, I know all of the stuff is okay. If you don't know, for women do present heart attack symptoms differently than men. A lot of times, we will not have the classic radiating through the arm, because that's a classic thing for men, is they'll radiate through the they'll radiate through the left arm. But for the women, a lot of times it will be indigestion. You will struggle with some indigestion troubles, and it will radiate out from the heart into the throat and the jaw itself. I had none of that. No, I just sat there feeling like E.T., only instead of his little heart light, I think, was red or orange. Mine was white. It's kind of wild. But that was Saturday night that happened. So I figured it was part of, we are, to come back to the Lemurian astrology, we are in the portal where everything is open. And like Annie Bear is saying, right now we're in that opening of galactic energy that's coming from the central sun. And like she's saying, I saw the waves of light last week down the street. That's perfect. I see them whenever I look at the shadow from the sun. I can see them. I can see light codes coming from the sun itself. Sometimes we have plenty of clouds, but even in the clouds, I will still see the codes that are coming through. So it's becoming more and more apparent as we're stepping in and we're doing more and more of this work. It's a little unsettling. I mean, a few years ago, I accidentally levitated in my living room, just walking across. I mean, I was walking across to go look out the windows at some elk and levitated. And I have to say, it was completely unexpected. I was not ready for it. And it kind of scared me, and I shut it down. And I haven't attempted levitation since then. It's not like I was attempting it at the time. It just happened to me. But no, it's the same thing with this. You know, a lot of these experiences going about the day, and suddenly these are things that are becoming part of the norm, which is amazing. I mean, this is pretty incredible. Yeah, it says I don't always know what they are. I just know it feels good. Yeah. It's a little startling to have the heart space just emanating light. It was kind of crazy. I wish some of the ETs would show up now. Alkin is giving us the healing light codes. Yes, but I am impatient for the whole waiting thing. Utica, I don't know if you were here last week or was that week before last, but I introduced the concepts of Michio Kaku, and they were doing quantum computing on the information that came back from Voyager 1. And they are becoming more and more aware of what they have been looking into. Time itself is a construct. It's fake. So we think that we are waiting. We are actually in the now moment, which sounds very philosophical, very woo-woo, very, this is ridiculous. How am I supposed to pay my bills with that sort of a thing? But we only have the now moment. So everything that is past, present, future is only existing now in this present moment. So I think some of the trick that has been played on us is time itself, the constructs of time. That's part of why I've been introducing and reminding people of the Lemurian operating system. Oh, honey, I am so sorry. Mousie's saying, I do know all of the stupid symptoms. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, I was 42 and you've made it to 72 now. It runs really strongly in my family, which is why I, did the inner dialogue. And of course, for me, one of the things that I do is I know where my meridians will show up and what they will look like. And that's just it. None of my meridians were showing that there was any kind of a heart trouble. Yeah. Yeah, you saw that post. It's interesting. It is interesting. The quantum computers are bringing information in, and they are presenting it in a way that those people, the scientists, can understand. And I find it interesting that it was rewiring their brains. It affected, they did not say how, probably because it's somebody's medical condition. But they did say that it affected the frontal cortex, and it also affected the pineal gland. So, yeah, I know time is an illusion. I'm just ready to experience the sightings. Utica, if you get the opportunity, go and look at the night sky and just see if any of the stars speak to you. I know it sounds cliche, but just see if any of them really stand out. And if you're looking at them, I'll give you an example. If I'm looking at the night sky, I will scan it through. And a lot of times, of course, you will see things are moving very quickly. Some of those can be your satellites. Hey, Leah, how you doing? Which are man-made. But if you watch those, you can see that they're going on a pretty strong trajectory. They've got a pathway. But you'll see other ones that will do like these 90-degree turns, or they will be going super, 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 super fast if there's just no physical way for them to do that. And then you'll see these other ones where you're looking at what you think is a star. Oh, this will happen to me a lot. I look at what I think is a star. Oh, that's right, because you guys had the monsoon seasons. Yeah, that's not going to work during the monsoon seasons for you in India. Shoot. We think. Because there might be another way. My main thing is that sometimes with these things, once they start coming in, you can actually start having experiences with them. Because like mine, after I started seeing them, that's like with Paul, when he saw his first UFO, I knew that he was going to start having different experiences. And he has, because suddenly the trees were speaking to him. Suddenly he was starting to hear things that he couldn't before. And I think that he's had a lot more visions and dreams. And I think that he's also been able to speak more with his people that have passed over. Uh, Although I think in his case, he probably did have strong connections to begin with. Let me see Utica. I'll tell you what, if anybody wants this, because Utica, I can send you some energy right now that will kind of help you. Okay, I keep hearing to do an alchemization at the same time. How beautiful, Annie Fair. That is gorgeous. Holy Jupiter, who is actually Pa, feminine energy, not masculine energy, and is in Gemini, which is in Kopunui, and the new moon will be in Kopunui, and Firo will be in Kopunui, and that will be, I think that's on, what is it, June 9th that occurs. Yeah. But as I was saying, if Utica or anybody else would like to just hop in on this, I'm going to send up, I think I'm going to do an alchemization. And what that'll do is that will help to open you up to getting, let's try for maybe visits from higher frequencies or even better, your super consciousness. Yeah, let's try for that. Because your super consciousness, everybody's always connecting to their subconscious and doing shadow work. Well, we have a light body for this as well. And the light being the super consciousness is your bestest friend. They kind of have to hang out and have to wait for an invitation for that too. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit around the heart space here first. Somebody else still needs it from me. It's like, yep, as Hypnicity saying, Mother Earth needs light workers. And that's just it. I want you guys to start having your own direct experiences so that you can start holding the light in space for your area of the world, your hood. Okay, so everybody, let's go ahead and close your eyes. Let's look up and just gently close your eyelids above that. Imagine your light. We're going to have your light coming from above and the light from below. Form the heart space, the bubble. Push that bubble out all the way around you and step into it. Let it be whatever color it wants to be. I'm going to do this silently. Wow, that is one heck of a strong connection. Okay, you may feel pressure on your heart, the tops of your shoulders, or your head, especially around your third eye chakra. What we're going to do is we're going to set an intention that you can begin seeing things and making connection with beings, the higher dimensional beings only. And you may see what looks like someone that is just pure glowing light. Let that person or that being step forward. That's actually going to be your super consciousness. That's your higher self that's stepping forward. They may give you a hug. They may greet you with a laugh. But we're going to set the intent that as you start to reach out, that you are protected, that you will remain in your bubble so that only your highest good comes in, and that you're reaching out so that you have interactions with higher dimensional beings. But we're going to keep that bubble set for safety. And we're going to journey back into your body and come back in. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your toes. Beautiful. Okay. So what you may start seeing are flashes of light. You may see white lights flash. I see these all the time. They're kind of like seeing a street lamp go out or flash on. A lot of times you'll see them out of the corner of your eyes. Other times you may see different colors in and around your home. And nature, of course, absolutely will support you. Mousy, did that make you dizzy? Can help you to ground if you need. You can wiggle your toes a little bit more if you need, or you can also get yourself a drink of water if that made you dizzy, because that was quite a bit of energy that I put out there. But I set it out there mostly that, you know, we're encouraging your higher being, your higher self, your super consciousness, who is you, by the way. That's your bestie. That's your best friend. They have your best interest at heart. And then we're setting the safety zone, period. So that these beings that are going to be approaching you, or that you will be experiencing, it's going to start slow, usually, at first. And that's kind of the intent, so that you can get used to them and they can get more used to you. And you can build up more confidence in yourself over time. And that time construct again. But the more experiences that you have, the more you will know what it feels like to be in that presence and to feel safe. And usually you can tell with a higher being, because you will begin, you've seen it from me before, where you start laughing a lot. And sometimes it's because I can hear the dolphins. They're in my ears whenever I'm channeling or I'm talking. But a lot of times it will make you laugh, which is great. That's a wonderful sign. Laughter always brings your frequency up fast. Now, we've had to manufacture laughter a lot, but we're reaching a stage where it will begin to express that way. Anything that makes you just sigh. Sometimes you'll smell flowers. You can smell even the bark on trees. Sometimes you can smell like the redwoods or the sequoias. They will hold the frequency of those old codes, and the beings from that will speak through the smells that they have. Sometimes it can smell a little bit like moss, but higher beings, sometimes they will have fragrances around them of roses, especially. That tends to be connected to the Ascended Master of Mother Mary. As a compassion piece, but there again, you are surrounded with love and nurturing, and that amazing rose smell can be connected to her. Different fragrances can be connected to the different goddesses as well. You may start smelling things like lavender coming through, and usually these are all higher beings. Sometimes, but not as frequent, you can have tastes come in, but since we tend to be such visual creatures, a lot of times we will have it where it's vocal. You can hear different frequencies coming in more frequently. Oh, and that might be one that got activated as well. If you begin to hear high droning sounds or a high-pitched humming sound, sometimes it can sound like that is from this activation as well. Those are higher frequencies that you're hearing. Annie Bear. Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, they do help us. You know, the amazing thing is our light bodies are already there. You know, I see the rivers of energy in and around everybody with the meridians. And so this just kind of helps us to remember we're coming back into a knowing. Okay, for anybody that's still hanging out here, we're just going to do just a little bit more energy around the head itself. And that's one too. If you need, imagine putting on a baseball cap or a sombrero, even, you know, one of those hats that has a huge brim. If you're one of those people that is affected from the solar flares or the energies that are coming in, you can put on an imaginary sombrero or an imaginary wide brim cowboy hat to kind of shield you and help you to integrate in your own time frame and ease that off of your head a little bit. Sometimes that's a bit much, you know, and you can slow it down. Okay, everybody, I'm going to hop out of here. I don't have anything on the books for today, but I wanted to say again, Happy New Year. And thank you for hanging out with me. And I hope you've had fun today. And I will see you next week then. Okay, over and out. Hola. Hola Nui, everybody.